Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Brown. Today we're going to do origami together. We're going to make this cute little crab. So I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. You'll just need a piece of regular printer paper. If you don't have printer paper, you can use a piece of regular mail, scrap paper that comes in the mail. It's 8.5 by 11. It's the regular size that you use in your printer. It's also the size that most of your homework comes on. So if you have an old piece of homework paper, you can use that too. Most origami starts off as a square piece. So what we have to do is first make a rectangle into a square. And if you don't have a pair of scissors, I'm going to show you how to make a rectangle into a square. So if I lay this on top, you'll see that there's an extra strip here that needs to be removed. And if you don't have a ruler or scissors, you don't know how much to take off, I'm going to show you an easy way. If I folded this square into a triangle, that's called a right triangle. It makes a letter L. And the bottom corner of this rectangle also makes a letter L. Right here. So that's a right angle. If I took the bottom corner and I brought it to line up over here on the side, and I left that strip open at the top, I know if I cut or tear this section off, I'll have a perfect square. So if I don't have scissors, what I'll do is I'll just fold this top part over, and I'm using a scrap paper, so that's why I have words on the back. When you're doing origami, there are two things that you have to make sure that you do. Number one, you have to be really accurate when you're folding. So you have to line up your corners and your edges really well. And the second thing is you have to crease your paper really well. So what I like to do is I like to fold it backwards. Once I fold it and crease it one way, I fold it and crease it the opposite way. And I really make sure, if I don't have scissors, that I crease these edges really well if I have to tear it. So now once I have that folded, I'm going to very carefully tear off that extra piece. And now I have a perfect square. So that's how you make a perfect square, and then you're ready to start your origami form. So I'm going to switch over to my green paper now, because I don't want to confuse you with that diagonal line that's on there. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Although I have a diagonal line on this one. So let me grab another one real quick. Switch that up. So we're making this cute little crab. And I'd say it has maybe about maybe about 10 steps or so. I didn't actually count them, so it may be a few more, a few less. Step number one is we're going to fold this square in half. And like I said earlier, it's really important that we fold very accurately. So before I crease it, I'm going to line up my corners. And once I have my corners lined up, I'm going to hold it tightly. And then I'm going to push all that paper over into the fold and then crease. Now it's important that you pay attention to whether I'm saying flip it over or don't flip it over. That's important, because when I open this, what I have here is called a valley fold. A valley is the low point between two mountains. So this is called a valley fold in origami. So even though this fold and this fold look the same, when I flip it over, this is actually called a mountain fold. The peak is at the top. So I had it folded in half, and then I opened it. So you're leaving it as a valley fold. So you're looking at it from this side. Just make sure you don't flip it over. Now I'm going to fold it in half the other way, from top to bottom. And then I'm going to open it back up. So now I have 4 equal squares, and they're all valley folds. Now I'm going to flip my paper over. So when I flip this over, all of my folds should be mountain folds. All the peaks of the fold should be high or at the top. Keeping that flat, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fold my square into a triangle shape. I'm going to open it, and without flipping it over, I'm going to fold it into a triangle the opposite way. This time, I'm going to keep it closed. Remember to crease it well. I go over it sometimes a few times with my fingernail, even if you don't have a fingernail. Sometimes you can use a pencil to go over your crease, but even if you don't have fingernails, you can just use the edge of your fingernail. All right, next, I'm going to take this triangle with the point pointing downward, and I'm going to push in to create this form. So now I have a triangle. So I have 2 flaps on the left, 2 flaps on the right. I'm going to lay that flat. I'm going to spin that around so the point is pointing towards me, and I'm ready to make my crab's legs. So this is the point of the crab that's pointing towards me, and I'm going to work on making the legs here. So the top flap only is going to form the legs. So I'm going to do the left side first. This is going to fold underneath. So it's folding under. I'll show you that again. So I'm taking this corner and I'm folding it underneath, and I want it to peek out a little bit. And then I'm going to crease it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to make it look symmetrical. Folding it underneath. And remember, I'm only doing the top flap only. These top 2 points are going to be the legs that are in the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the whole form over. I'm going to take just about a 1/2 inch, and I would say that's about as wide as my pinky finger. I'm going to fold about a 1/2 inch of that down. And I'm going to crease that really well, especially in the center, because that's a few pages thick. I'm going to flip it back over to the other side. Now all I have to do is I have to fold my legs forward. So I'm going to take the left side first. And I'm going to fold it under and up. I'll show you again. Folding it under and up. So it's pointing upward. And then I'm going to crease that really well. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to make it symmetrical. And those are my crab's front legs. And then I'm going to grab a Sharpie marker. And I'm going to give him 2 little eyes. And there's my cute little crab. So I hope you had fun. I will be back in a couple of days to give you another art lesson.